Okay, is this thing on? From the writer's room, this is Reliable Narrator, the podcast, and I am your host, Dom. Be prepared. Chaotic storytelling, just my kind of nonfiction. Alright, welcome back. This is episode 2, and this topic here that we're going to be discussing, friendship breakups, I am very passionate about, and yeah, I just have very strong feelings about it. So just bear with me. A disclaimer, when I'm talking about platonic friendships, especially with a man and a woman, things can be kind of complicated or whatever. And I just want you to know that this is not the case at all. And this is not like a friends to lovers type of thing. This isn't like when Harry met Sally, no, this is strictly platonic. So just wanted to get that out there. But last night I was doing this week's episode's notes. My previous work that I wrote during this really, really gray area time, which that's what I'm going to be referencing this certain situation as a gray area, just because it's still like pending and yeah, there's like not really like a resolution here yet. So that's where we're at. I was not only reviewing it, but I was also redigesting this situation, this experience. And just food for thought, just to give a little timeline. This gray area happened from September to now, currently, as I said. So, trigger warning, the Rage Dom definitely wrote these pieces. This topic here about friendship breakups, I'm not even talking about the loud and verbal ones, but also the silent killers. Somehow those hurt the most rather than voicing out loud, I really don't want to be your friend anymore. And at least in my eyes, you know? And so just to give you all like a preface before jumping into it, I haven't had the best track record in terms of female friendships. So it was very hard for me to like open myself up for new female friendships to be taking place, especially in college. Like that was like one of my very many goals during my college career. Like I wanted to grow and nurture a new connection because the only female friend I had that like consistently like is a constant pillar in my life is
This is editing Dom here. I just want to add that my best friend from high school, her name's Annalie, and I really hope she doesn't mind me name dropping her. Like, this will give a little like preface. She is literally like my JWoww to my Snooki. I'm Snooki, she's JWoww for sure. She is the bitch that is like what bitches can't say excuse me in like the bar in the club. Like she is that fucking friend. I'm gonna just say that and love you, bitch. Call me.
my best friend from high school that I met junior year. Still friends with her now, so it's been what six some years. So definitely like I had like a lot of paranoia just because I think being getting betrayed by another woman, especially in a best friend case scenario, is a very very hard sucker punch in your life. You know, like you either bounce back from that or you don't. You know what I mean? So it just kind of made me have like distrust with my own community, you know, like if my best friend that I knew for years and I trusted her with like my life, if she could do that to me, like
Hi, this is editing Dom once again. I just wanted to clarify some things. So when I say that I had distrust with my own community, I mean like with other women that I could have had a good friendship with or had a good connection with. The thing that was stopping me was they didn't do anything wrong. It was me. It was my paranoia. It was my anxiety of like I always had that thought process thinking to myself like if my best friend could do what she did to me, are you going to do the same thing? Like I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I think like a lot of like potential connections and girls that I did meet during college, I sabotaged that before it could actually even become anything because of my past. Um, yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely very hard, like going into like my junior year of college, trying to be open to like new connections with other girls, you know. But but fortunately, the gods have granted me very good connections and sincere and genuine reciprocal connections. I got awarded with these really great grand friends that I do see a beautiful future with. So with something new entering my life, I was ultimately preparing for something old to exit, you know? Like that saying of when a window opens, a door closes. Preface saying that when I talk about this old fire of a friendship that I had with this person was like Will and Chucky from Good Will Hunting. Like we literally kept each other in check. Like we had those kind of conversations. Like for example, I'll put the best part of my day scene from Good Will Hunting here.
Look, you're my best friend, so don't take this the wrong way. But in 20 years, if you're still living here, coming over my house to watch the Patriots game, still working construction, I'll fucking kill you. Let me tell you what I do now. Every day I come by your house and I pick you up. And we go out, we have a few drinks and a few laughs, and it's great. You know what the best part of my day is? For about 10 seconds from when I pull up to the curb and when I get to your door. Because I think maybe I'll get up there and I'll knock on the door and you won't be there. No goodbye, no see you later, no nothing. Just left. I don't know much, but I know that.
So yeah, so sometimes he was my Chucky and sometimes I was Chucky to him. And knowing that if one of us was screwing up, we would call each other out about it, and not to like be like not to like bash each other about it, or like not to like badger or kick him while he was down. Like we felt comfortable enough to like be like you did what you did, like you take accountability for that, you know what I mean? And accountability like was like, a very strong string in our friendship. And I don't know, somewhere along the lines that got kind of blurred. And I saw this podcast recently, Tangent podcast with Tanner. He had I believe his best friend on the episode, and the friend tells him, he's like, being friends with women helped me to become a better man. They go on with the conversation saying, I need straight men to stop saying I don't know to get out of deep emotional conversations. Girls are not asking for perfectly worded responses from you. They are just wanting effort to see if you actually care. With this particular person, I know that I did not go through like a traditional friendship breakup. It wasn't even like a falling out. Like again, this was a silent killer. This wasn't one of those verbal ones. And to me, I went through a very slow burn that caused a drift in this universe that I had with this person. We're under this like sort of umbrella of a world that like only existed for our dynamic, you know what I mean? And this drift that literally cracked and had this slow burn in this like in between us, right? The thing is that this took time and God made sure that I clocked this fucking feeling that I had through this gray area period of my life that took up practically all last quarter last year. And he made sure that I mark this feeling so I never put myself through this again. And so I don't repeat it for the future. And for me to like also clock the red flags in it, you know what I mean? Like, so, because I think that that can be reinforced in so many ways, not only for like other friendships, other connections, whether that might be with your girlfriends or, you know, with your platonic dynamics, but also like with your romantic ones too. And like even with like family and even with yourself. Is that I didn't just make a mental note of this, bitch. I wrote it all down. I documented this gray area. I recorded the flux and I recorded the static, the in between moments where things didn't really feel like they were progressing, nor were they decreasing. Stagnant periods, aka maybe the period where I am now with him, right? And also I documented and recorded like the highs of hope too. Like the optimistic side of like maybe things are getting back to the way that they were. Maybe I am coming around to like accepting it too. And then finally like the crash too. I documented that bitch for sure. Um, and it was more like of an atomic bomb more than anything else. This week, I posted on the pod's Instagram asking you all what topic you all wanted to hear about most. And one of the options were impulsivity in writing, and then the other was decentering rage, which I'll get into this a little bit more. But I definitely want to have like a separate video for that topic specifically. But this first essay that I'm about to show you definitely is the epitome of writing impulsively. I wrote last semester, senior year of college, for my nonfiction class. And so it is a personal essay, hermit crab personal essay. And it's called You Ripped Me Open with Your Ego and Buried Me Alive with Your Pride, the soundtrack to a dying friendship. And you'll see how my impulsiveness definitely shined through because this was practically everything I ever wanted to tell this other person. And I mean, literally, like if you were to copy and paste some of the lines, it could have easily been a text thread. I remember when I was writing this, I asked one of a good friend of mine, a coworker of mine, to proofread it, and she was like, Dom, like, are you gonna send this to him? Like, are you like, what are you gonna do with this? And I literally, like, my justification for writing what I wrote was if I can talk to him directly about this, I have to write about it. Like, there's no ands or ifs or but about it. And boy, did I write. I not only wrote this essay, but I wrote, like, other pieces as well. This piece, like, literally, I mean, this saved me. And I like to think that this is, like, this is the main flower of this, the garden of this gray area. Like, this is, like, the root. It holds a lot of context, history, baggage, too. I wrote this piece during the peak and the climax of this gray area experience. And to me, this is how I see myself acting on my impulsivity through my writing. With every single piece, I simply write to figure out what the hell just happened to me because each piece was like a benchmark for a particular uprise of the situation. Some type of progression that happened during this experience, and I would write about it. So I was definitely writing like in active present time. It kind of got me thinking, and it reminded me of that Joan Didion quote. I write entirely to find out what I'm thinking, what I'm looking at, what I see, and what it means, what I want and what I fear. Writing is such a therapeutic, cathartic outlet for me. I don't remember, maybe that's why I was so fucking angry as a child, as a teenager, because I didn't know that writing could do this for me, to figure out my reaction to a certain situation. Why did it piss me off this much? You know what I mean? What am I really angry at? Am I angry at myself or am I angry at them? Impulsive writing is a flow state. Writing about present shit that just happened. That's like a different type of conversation that you have with not only yourself, but with the reader too. Like you have to bend back the layers of this situation in order to correctly and accurately and unmercifully unpack this experience. Going through the motions, like that Joan Didion quote, it's going through the motions. And I think you can also clock as I'm going through these essays and these excerpts and these annotations that I'm slowly but surely like grasping what is happening to me and I'm digesting it and I'm accepting it. And but nonetheless, like I'm still fucking pissed off. When I'm hurt, I'm fucking angry. I think the more that I like slowly started to disengage too, you can definitely see that in the writing, you know, and I just think that's just so beautiful and such an underrated thing because like looking back at it now, like in present time, you know, the last 4 months of 2025, just to like see that growth and the shit that I felt was valid and it still is fucking valid. Now, it's a different playing field when you're in a flow state and you're writing about the past. Because to me, that takes place with a different hand when I'm writing. Either I write to rewrite the past, what I wish could have happened because I'm so in love with what could have been, or I write about the past to remember, to recall, and to relive. Because for whatever reason, this force is larger than nostalgia. Let me explain. This experience from the past is so expensive to me and so worthy to me of my time and of my life that writing it all down literally puts it into stone. It makes it frozen love. It makes it truer and it makes it real. Like it makes it tangible. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not just a memory. Like when you see those words on the screen or on the page, it's like that's literally something that you can hold. That's something that you can see. That's something that you can believe in. That's something that you can have faith in and you can like fall back on as a cushion. Soundtrack to a Dying Friendship. This ego and pride essay is a hermit crab essay, meaning for those who don't know, a hermit crab essay is when you use a different shell of a particular like documented like material. In this case, I used Hayley Williams' newest album, Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, as my shell. And in that shell I put in that nonfiction essay, this experience, the story, the questions that I had, the conflict, the resolution. Literally encapsulated all of that and I inserted that into this new shell in which I don't think it would be as ponent of an essay if I didn't have this particular shell. Because I just love when music and literature and just art just complements other art. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the only one feeling this, or I'm not the only one thinking this either. This is exactly my perception on this situation. I definitely felt heard and I felt seen with this particular album, and I can fucking write a thesis essay on this bitch. Anyways, so I remember submitting this to my nonfiction class, and a classmate of mine pulls me aside after class and he's like, I am so sorry this happened to you. Trust me, I've had this friend before too. Like dead ass, like he was giving me like a Dr. Phil speech, and he basically was like, he's like, it's hard growing up with someone that you actually thought was gonna grow old with you and grow with you. He's like, but you need to talk to him about it. Like you need to pick up that phone. And I never did. I don't think I ever will. Not because I'm avoidant, but because what's the use? This goes along saying that I'm not only obsessed with knowing what will happen in the future. That's something I'm unlearning and not practicing anymore. I love to know that that you made me feel like shit. At the end of the day, at one point in our lifetime, you actually cared for me, and nonetheless, you still chose to hurt me. And maybe this is resentment, maybe this is bitterness, but I don't fucking care. I just hope that, like, at 3 a.m., you're replaying the shit that you said to me, or the things that you didn't say to me, or the shit that you fucking did to me. Because I know that that regret and that guilt and that shame was never mine. That's all yours. This ego and pride essay, I was scared as hell as I was writing it. For some reason, it's like I felt safer writing this on a Word document, and I felt comfortable enough to send it as a workshop to strangers, to my classmates, than I did actually voicing this to the actual person that I had this experience with. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. This essay, again, carries a lot of weight. So, ego essay, the piece that fucking saved me. I have this excerpt here. I hear me as a little girl in my ear. Yes, the girl you used to know, maybe the girl you still see me as, and she vexes me. It's so much easier to feed anger than it is to care for you sometimes. As you can see, I used the track Glum from Hayley Williams' album. Note, I did not use all of the tracks. I just used the ones that were particularly calling out to me in this time. Touch on this a little bit more in the first episode about like when you're chronically nostalgic, you somehow always get looped and vacuumed into the idea of like seeing a person in their past self. And that's not necessarily their responsibility to continue living that image that you have in your head, because I felt like this other party was seeing me as like the 17-year-old Dom that I once was. And I think that's why I resorted a lot to past destructive behaviors when I was dealing with this gray area. I talk about in the essay about this 50-second phone call that I had with this person. I say in this excerpt, as soon as I saw your call coming through, I threw up my heart and a fiery gut in the pit of my stomach got lit, like sparking dynamite. But no explosion, just rage bait. Or maybe sabotage me entered the phone call. 17-year-old me was now on the receiving end. I start grinding your ignorant to tone in between my triggered jaw. My thick skull recognized this familiar web of emotions and locked in and overstayed her welcome. Look at what you're doing to me, friend. I had a lot of residual energy with this person, a lot of things that were left unsaid, and a lot of things that were better even left unsaid. You know what I mean? And like I said, like if I had the opportunity to voice these reactions or emotions that I had towards him, would I? I don't think so, because I don't find any particular like proactive resolution there. So yeah, so I definitely like took like all the punches and I never really said shit. Another excerpt here, I have Disappearing Man, another track. Disappearing Man, my good friend of mine, won't you just surrender? I still care about you, endlessly, until there is no you to hold anymore. Where did you go? Aren't we a little too old to be playing hide and seek? Am I getting warmer or colder? Your rancid ego is leaving a trail behind you like an oil stain on pavement. Difference between my ego and yours, whatever you don't tell me, my intuition will. That's just the kind of friend I am. I'm really heavy on intuition. I've always been a very vivid dreamer. And during this time, like I was having like hella dreams about this person. It gave me a really bad taste in my mouth because of the way that like I was seeing them in my dreams wasn't correlating or wasn't like matching what they were doing in active real time. So that like pissed me off even more. So it was like I said, like all the things that were left unsaid, like that was obviously getting trickled down to my subconscious, and through my dreams I was like understanding like, okay, like this is where we are now. Realizing that like this person that you were best friends with, at one point or another, you definitely saw them showing up to your parents' funeral whenever that day does happen. And the thing is, would they come? I don't know. It's very just gut wrenching, you know? Anyways, I say in this excerpt, I need you to tell me out loud that you are laying to rest a friendship, that you know you will never find a best friend like me. And in waking time, you must live with the death of my friendship, not me. This bond is already tender and sore. I'm only asking, was it ever enough? I know my inner teenager whispered to you one night, why did you let go? And you didn't have an answer for her. Pretty soon, you're going to find out you're alone if you keep screwing around. I truly, truly think that when you isolate and you self-destruct and you self-sabotage a lot of stuff, I mean, coming from a person that has, you know, self-sabotage tendencies, like ghosting people out of nowhere is not a very healthy fucking mechanism. Like, truth fucking be told, you know, you can say, yo, I do need a little break from this friendship, for sure. If that's what it takes for you to return 100% to this friendship and to like commit to it and to show up and to be a fucking friend, then so be it. But voice that to me, right? I go into this a little bit more. I talk about how friendship is about voice, right? It's about knowing where to find them. Because I'm that type of friend that will be stationed outside of your door always. That's where you will always find me. But when that door opens, you need to communicate with me, as I will communicate with you as you stand outside my door. to either come in or to leave. And if it's to leave, and I know that it's temporary, and that you will call me whenever you're ready for me to come back in, I'm fucking there. You know what I mean? It's about fucking communicating. And I say this in the essay. I say, trust me, I don't want a perfect friend. I just want you to care as much as I do. I just want passion from you. Yet, you keep ripping me open and gutting me, not in my face, but at arm's reach. How do you do that? The thing is, not only was I going through this as an adult, like at 23, with a person that I've been friends with since 17, like teenage Dom was also experiencing this too. You know what I mean? Like she was having a fucking hard ass time letting go of this person. Obviously, that's where rage comes in. She was fucking pissed off, right? Despite the signs, despite like the evidence was fucking clear. Like the writing was on the fucking wall. And I needed to not only like find proactive steps in order to move on as an adult, but I needed to like also comfort teenage Dom too. You know, it took me a long time for me to understand like why am I holding on? Like what is there to hold on to? Like there's nothing left here. You know, and but it took adult me a long time to understand where teenage Dom was coming from and why she was so fucking pissed off for so long and why she obsessed over this was because I needed to understand she was so scared to lose the last bit of him that she had left. I say this in the essay. I'm keeping my circle tight knit, like my chronic rage that is holstered on my hip like open carry, ready anytime to shoot. It's loaded with my pride because I know I did my part in this friendship. I know I pulled my end of the string. I won't quit on you, though. I cannot, for the love of God, detach from you. Because you hold a gun that shoots me right in between the eyes, indicating I have selective vision and hearing. The answers are clear, with evidence, with proof. I'm just looking for something else to blame for this drift. Be a man. Tell me straight up. That's the only way I'll believe that this friendship is over. I was in constant defense during this time. It was fucking intense. Obviously, like there was a lot of calling out. And so I say this. What a tough exterior you carry, like it's the only weapon you have. I get bigger than you, though, when the rage sits in the middle of my face when I hear your name. And you love it. You grow exponentially when you know you got under my skin. Would you prefer rage me? Do you feel equal to her than me now? When our pride and ego were the only armor, exactly how we were at 17. Do you miss the old me? Hysterical. Because did you not tell me at the deepest well of my life to grow up? What a funny way of showing up for your friends. Again, I was fucking pissed off. Nothing about what you're doing is softening the blow. You think you're letting me go easy? Like a parachute? You think if you keep pushing me away that I'll just give up? I'm not jumping off, not until it comes from your mouth to my ears. For the last year, it's been a slow burn before amputating a limb, like pouring hard liquor over an open, gushing wound to disinfect it. It's becoming a living nightmare where I cannot scream. The scream died in my throat and rage turned inward is in my locked jaw. I firmly believe, like my final act of surrendering was this essay. So I also say, I never would have guessed the hard times were the good old days. I should have appreciated you more at 17 if it meant that I could have you the way I used to now at 23. I just want to love you, but you won't let me. So you'll deny it to the grave. Ironically, the grave you keep on digging, burying me alive while I say we're not getting any younger. You know I'm right. The regrets will torment you on your deathbed if you keep this up. I fucking believe that. Again, if you are isolating and ghosting every fucking constant pillar that has been in your life for years, it's like malnourishing it. It's gonna be just bones at the end of the day because you're not feeding it. You're looking around at one day and you're realizing, why did all these people fucking die on me? Why did these people fucking leave me? Well, obviously, you bitch, like the fuck you mean? That's my biggest fucking fear is having regrets on my deathbed. That's why I want to practice saying the shit that I need to say now before it's fucking too late, and that moment will never come again. And if it does, it's not gonna come the way I want it to. That was my rage essay. My pride and ego essay. Now I have another essay to discuss with you all. Last summer, from the magazine column Between You and Me, and it's titled Confessions of an El Pasoan, the City That Won't Let Go. Last episode, I talk about exposure therapy and the people of the past, and El Paso has a funny fucking way of reminding you, remember what you lost, remember what you like left behind, like remember your fucking past, remember like the regrets, remember that ex-best friend. I talk about bumping into everybody and their mother here, right? Every fucking street corner is a goddamn reminder. It's just never people that you want to see or that you need to see. I say this, the more you see them, the easier it gets. Is this the El Paso way to move on? If I'm understanding correctly, I must be constantly surrounded by my past regrets, jaded friendships, ex-passions, what could have been, to realize how far I've gotten. I also mention the last meeting theory. Damn, these fucking lessons can be a bitch sometimes, right? I say in this essay, if El Paso is designed this way for our benefit, what about the last meeting theory? This theory suggests that two people have fulfilled their purpose in each other's lives, and the universe ensures them they'll never meet again. Even if they attend the same college or mutual friends, so where exactly is the lesson I keep getting served here? If you get reminded of them and you start missing them, it's a totally different way, different type of missing than maybe, let's say, when you first detached from this person. When time passes on, like, you start missing them a little bit differently. But that's also still, like, nostalgia. It's the thing that you keep on bumping into, keep getting snagged on. The same thing that is poking out in your walkway. The thing that you choose not to move out of the way. You eventually just start walking around it, right? You start, like, eventually living on without them. Like, you start, like, not expecting a fucking response to a text message. You expect them not to be picking up the phone. This Between You and Me column essay, I wrote that in August, I believe. It's just funny that this Between You and Me column is still relevant to the things that I'm talking about, even though this was written months prior, in the summer. And other summer archive substack essays were written then too, because I have many other pieces on friendship. And the thing is that looking back at all of them, I can, like, that timeline that I spoke about in terms of Didion, like, I definitely have, like, benchmarks of when I was, like, clocking this jadedness in my friendships, and when I started to, like, realize this person is not seeing the severity of this situation the way that I am, you know what I mean? And we're not seeing eye to eye, and, like, each single writing piece that I did is, like, all interwoven under this spectrum. I have these drafted essays that I never published, just because they were just, like, a bit too strong. These two essays, like, this was Rage Dom writing these essays, but also, like, I had, like, some type of epiphany at the end of it too, and I definitely want to, like, clock that, because I think that goes along with the topic that I want to talk about too, like, of like, decentering rage, because, again, I write to, like, examine and to analyze what is happening to me, and then at the end of it, I suppose, like, a call to action, like, I have a plan to move forward. Maybe not like a end all be all kind of victory resolution, but it's something, right? So I have these two drafts here. I have I Hate Missing You, Friend. Again, this was in, like, the peak moment of this gray area. And I also have Eating My Guts for Breakfast, and then the sub headline is No Friend of Mine Would Bite My Reaching Hand and Not Let Go. So with I Hate Missing You, Friend, this essay really, really made me understand, like, the writing on the fucking wall. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Talk about like selective hearing and vision, bro. Like I genuinely like I was like the fucking thing was right here and I was like point of contact that I had with this person during this great time was when he would get drunk and he would call, and those were like the only signs that I was like sufficing for, like that was to me. I was saying to myself, well, if he's still calling, then he still is like considering me a part of a person that he wants to have still want to have contact with, because I'm just that bitch, right? In I Hate Missing You, Friend, I have this excerpt here. You're insufferable when you're drunk. You tease and bait and get under my skin. Well, let me get under yours by sitting there unscathed, just taking your punches. I am stronger than you. You won't steal my breath because you cannot. Because your voice is a gun that shoots me right in between the eyes. Evidently, you've been truthful this whole time. You treating me like shit, I just didn't want to see it. I only consumed and witnessed what I wanted, whatever soothed me the best. I also go along saying, every tone in your voice that I know like the back of my hand, every hug you give with your hard exterior, the only weapon you have. My mother vouches for us. Maybe her prayers are the only thing tugging at the string that vexes you and I. Maybe writing about you is enough to keep you alive in my waking life. I would do anything to have a fucking conversation with you right now. All I need is to hear your voice. I think for the longest time during this gray area, I just wanted to express myself to him, but the thing is that was I ready for his response back? I also wanted to take some excerpts out of Eating My Guts for Breakfast. In the excerpt I have here, I say, you can't be friends with this version of me. How can you? You still see me as a teenager. Adult me makes you eat your words. I've made my peace with that. Your ego cut me the last time I saw you. Your pride was begging me to stay and wait for you in my dreams, but I know what I want. I just want him to surrender. In my dreams, the closest I can get to you. Every damn time, right before I wake, he disappears. I say this at the end of the essay. Kind of makes me think, why do we obsess over the things that don't want us? And I can additionally say, that don't want us back. Because again, like this was a one-sided fucking friendship for a long time, and I didn't clock that until recently. So I say this, I must be missing the last version of you because I sure as hell don't miss this current you. I miss the last version that actually conversed with me because that you has been dead for quite some time. The rhetoric must be working because in my dreams now, you're a ghost, just lingering in the corners of my mind. You're a distant memory now. Good, thank God, about fucking time. But these essays are exhibit points of streams of rage and anger and frustration towards this person, right? I was fed up. I was done. I was over it. Well, obviously not over it, but like exhausted, that I care so fucking much and I was the only one that fucking cared. And I knew he didn't think of the severity of the situation like me, like I knew that, and that's what pissed me off the fucking most. And it got me thinking of this scene from the movie He's Just Not That Into You. I'll insert it here.
But if I'm the exception. No, you're not. You're not at all. In fact, you're the rule. And the rule's this. If a guy doesn't call you, he doesn't want to call you. If a guy is treating you like he doesn't give a shit, he genuinely doesn't give a shit. No exceptions.
And it really was like a wake up call because like simply like I know they were talking about like romantic relationships and like potential partners and dating and shit like that, but I think that like it can easily go hand in hand with platonic friendships too. Like my rhetoric has always been in terms of friendship, like if they wanted to, they would. You know what I mean? If I wanted to, I would. Genuinely, like let's stop like looking for something to blame here. Like it's us. Like that's what you're intentionally choosing, doing over and over and over again. Simply this scene really just calls out the fucking elephant in the room of like when a guy he like genuinely doesn't fucking care about you. And there's no fucking excuse for that. I'm like seeing like the true colors of this friend. The thing is that like we know how this all ends. Like we know the ending. This story is like old as time. This friendship was eventually getting built on the grounds of convenience. You know, him coming to me whenever he wanted to, but whenever I needed him, he was nowhere to be found. Because what somebody won't do, somebody else fucking will. I wanted to rewrite my fucking ending here. You know, like that was the only way that I could have some type of control over the situation when I was literally losing grasp of what was happening. But I remember decentering my rage and reading this fucking essay. I outgrow people but never stop missing them, and it resonated with like, so many things for me during this gray period, and I just want to like pull out from this essay. Millie says, outgrowing people doesn't erase the years you spent building those connections. It just means you carry them differently now, like faded photographs in your pocket. I tap into this a little bit more, decentering this kind of rage by accepting the new normal that is happening right now. So that's like where I'm at this point. This excerpt from Millie. I've learned that outgrowing someone doesn't mean the love wasn't real. It just means we became people who no longer fit in each other's lives the way we used to. And yet, even when I accept that truth, the missing never seems to go away. And I also touch in a couple of more essays, and I do want to give these essays that I didn't mention in this video, but I want to give them their flowers in another episode. But I am fucking heavy on the truth of the matter in this situation, particularly in this gray area. In the times when friendship breakups are the silent killer, I think about like the disrespect too in friendships. You disrespected me so fucking much that I actually forgot at one point in our lifespan you cared for me. Thinking that like I would never have gotten to the place where I have been with other past friends. Now I'm going through that with you, and but this time is different, you know, like it's different and it hurts different. Just to give you a little framework of this, I have 6 remaining pieces about friendships. What can I say? I'm just a loyal fucking friend. I have, if you can't tell your parents, then it's wrong. I have, you're looking at me like there's a way out, but there is none, friend. And desire, lifelong friendship. How do you know when you need new friends? And I have a between you and me column titled Friends to Adults. What kind of friend are you? And lastly, I have Friends to Adults, the script, in which I have submitted to a film festival in Austin and was nominated and selected. That's fucking crazy to me, actually. And I really hope that you're eager to like learn more about where I come from in terms of friendships and what kind of friend I am. And if you haven't already gotten the fucking gist from these past these 3 fucking essays that I just shared with you all, that's that. This isn't necessarily a how to get over a friendship breakup. I hope I didn't put that connotation into it, but yeah, simply some people are just fucking seasons in your life, and that's okay. We move on. And again, it goes along with the mantra that I said in my first episode, you know, like whatever leaves my life literally just makes room for the new things coming in, and the new things that are coming in, I'm fucking welcoming them with open arms, and I will always be grateful for that. And of course, like things always have to be in rotation, and you know, when that fucking window does open and when that door slams shut, I know now not to try to unlock that shit. Why? I have a fucking perfect view right here. You know? Why look back? What's the use? So, yeah, that was the lore. That was the drama. That was the why behind my writing. That's why I wrote what I wrote. This has been your reliable narrator, mostly, reporting live from the writer's room. Yeah. I'll see you in episode 3 next Friday.